as things unfolded that week, we all saw it. One, it was a slap in the face to the family. The way everything was unfolded, the lies.
Hey Boujee True Crimers, and welcome back to another episode of Evil Strikes. I am your host Boujee Hustla, and this is a Boujee Hustla production. If you're new to the channel, Evil Strikes is a new series that I started where I come on camera discussing a true crime case while beating my face, aka doing my makeup, or giving a commentary. So if you like true crime delivered in either format, join the rest of us and subscribe to the channel. Get comfortable because we have a ton more cases to talk about. So I want to start this video off with a big thank you for all of the well wishes. As y'all know, in my last Shanquella update, I was sounding nuts, okay? Coughing and sniffling and everything in between. I was going to bed late, waking up early, barely eating, just trying to focus on this case. And it caught up to me. So God was like, girl, you better take a step back, or three. And I'm like, okay, I will do that. And I feel so much better now, not even a week later. So thanks again for all of the well wishes. And if this is your first time hearing about the Shanquella case, highly recommend you pause this video, go to the description box and click the link on my first video regarding her story. Then you can watch all the other ones leading up to this one and you will be caught up. For everyone else, let's get into it. So today's video has a couple of updates, some of them factual, others will categorize as speculation or brainstorming, but it's actually pretty good brainstorming. But we'll save the brainstorming for the end. You might want to hear it, so stick around. So recently, the Robinson family came out and did a press conference to announce that they will be doing a rally this coming Saturday, December 10th of 2022. And as we know, they recently held a funeral service for Shanquella, which was not open to the public. So now they are holding this rally to include the public, those who are not able to attend the funeral, and also to help keep Shanquella's name alive. Because as we all know, there has been a huge standstill in the case since the announcement of an arrest warrant for Dejanay, and more so an alleged arrest. And as a result of the standstill in the case, there really hasn't been too much more to report on Shanquella, which is why this rally, in my opinion, has been formulated to help keep people informed with the status of the case, and again to help keep Shanquella's name alive. So I am going to go ahead and share a portion of the press conference that they had, but if you want to see the full conference, because this is about half of it, then you can head over to wcnc.com, which is who is keeping us in the loop with the local news of the Shanquella case.
This press conference was organized to talk about Saturday's Justice for Shanquella Robinson Rally Day that will be held at 4 p.m. right here at Little Rock AME Zion Church, Saturday, December the 10th, 2022.
Tell us about the event. What's going to be happening on Saturday?
We have, thank you. I'm used to questions.
Don't worry.
Call and response.
Don't worry.
So Saturday we have guest speakers coming in, basically to show their support for the Robinson family, continued support for the Robinson family, and it's something that, as a native of Charlotte, born and raised, and the community wanted, for this family. There were thousands of people that didn't make it into the services a couple of weeks ago. So this is the opportunity to come and show their support with the Robinson family again, and to love on them and basically let them know that we stand with them, and it's justice for Shanquella Robinson until justice is served.
Where are you guys going to be marching to exactly?
We're not marching. Shanquella has a grandmother that's older, and I'm sure she wants to be a part of the day, so we're doing it indoors. That's the purpose of having it here at Little Rock. And like I say, the guest speakers will be here on the inside of the sanctuary, and we have some special tributes along throughout the rally as well.
Okay, so this is something, that a lot of people all across the nation and that have heard about, have been tuned into, because a lot of people have cared about Shanquella and what happened to her. Could you just talk about, why this is something that's just, again, important, not just for the family, but, again, a lot of people have been invested in this and want to see justice for her from literally all across this country.
Definitely.
And now that an arrest has been made, just kind of tell us how this is integral to pushing support for her forward.
I don't know if you guys heard what she said, but she made a reference to an arrest being made. Okay. Now, what I'm saying next is a bit premature because I've already watched this, but notice how when he responds, he nor none of the family corrects what she says, which would lead me to believe if you're not correcting something that you know for sure is not true, then there probably is some truth to it, which means what Gerardo told us may in fact hold water. But again, they can't say anything because the investigation is ongoing. So I don't know. To me, that just kind of gives withholding information because they're not able to talk about it. To be honest, I didn't even notice that when I initially watched this. It was only just now that I picked that up. But you guys, let me know what you think about that. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now.
First and foremost, it helps to begin the healing process for not only the Robinson family, but the community, the nation. This is a story that touched the world, unfortunately, and with the national attention that it has gotten, hosting the event was important to us to ensure that her name stay alive. During we all saying justice for Shanquella, but it's the days after, days like Saturday, the days after that the family need that extra boost and that extra support. So again, it was something that was important to me, and I had a lot of people reaching out to me asking, what are y'all going to do? And out of respect of the family, I didn't want to do nothing prior to them laying her to rest. And during that week leading to her services, the world was right there at them. So I wanted to be respectful. And, I made contact with Mom after the services, and, we talked and we came up with the date, and here we are.
And you said it starts at 4, not 3.
It starts at 4 p.m. Originally it was 3, but we pushed it back to 4.
Why do you think so many people resonated with Shanquella's story? And obviously it went all across the world, everybody talked about it. What about her you think just resonated, that people just grew to her and thought of her as a sister?
As things unfolded that week, we all saw it. One, it was a slap in the face to the family. The way everything was unfolded, the lies, and I think that was a big piece of it for them to lie like that to her mother, her family. It touched a lot of people's hearts, and you're heartless if it didn't touch you, because it was just that sensitive.
What do you want people to get from this event that's going to happen after it happens?
A sense of hope and unity, and a sense of, humanity. We're human, and the way she left us, because she belonged to us now, the way she left us, that it should have never happened, So I just want everybody to leave here with a sense of hope, unity, love. Love is the key thing. Love conquers all. So if that could be the message, let's leave here with love.
What is resolution for the family and you guys? Is it every one of these people getting arrested and going to jail, serving the proper? Can you talk about justice? What justice are you guys exactly looking for?
So me and the family haven't had that conversation together, but if I may say, yes, there you go.
Everybody being arrested and doing time in Mexico. Everybody extradited over there and doing their time there. that'll be justice for us as of now.
Have you? I mean, can you say anything that
We
Mexican
can't say
authorities
anything.
have said anything to you guys
Yeah,
yet?
we can't say anything about it, but they're working on it.
Should people expect huge crowds again? Like, because I mean, at the for the funeral services, there's obviously hundreds, if not thousands, of people that showed up. Do people expect huge crowds again on Saturday?
Absolutely, yes. The message and the word has gotten out, and we just want to be able to accommodate and, like, again, come to love, show that support for the family and love on them, let them know that we stand with them.
So obviously you see how Shanquella's sister and the rest of the family feel about the CABO 6 and what they feel would be justice for them. Furthermore, it appears as though they have information that they may not be able to publicly talk about until they get the go-ahead from either U.S. authorities or Mexican authorities. They have to sit on whatever it is that they know. Next, we have our good sis, Miss Nancy Grace, over at Fox Nation. She hosts a show called Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. If y'all don't know who Nancy Grace is, you are missing out. That lady is a beast and has been for years. I remember hearing about her as a kid, and that lady is a force not to be played with. If you see tough cookie in the dictionary, her picture's right there. Shoot, they might even have it painted on the cookie itself. But in any event, our constant and diligent support for Shanquella Robinson's case has earned its way to Nancy's platform, and she was able to shed some more light on Shanquella's story, which comes at a perfect time because, as we all know, her case right now is at a standstill while we wait for new details to emerge about the case. So while things are at a standstill, typically is when the name starts to fade away. But right before that can even happen, Nancy Grace's story pops up and keeps her story alive, on top of the rally that they already have scheduled for December 10th. And I'm sure the Robinson family is extremely appreciative to be able to share Shanquella's case on a platform as large as Nancy's, because again, like I said in my previous videos, it's ironic how whenever the fair-skinned counterparts have an occurrence happen with them, they're literally on every single news outlet you could imagine, and you hear about it all day, every day from noon till dusk. There's a minimum of what, like I said in the last video, 3 segments: a morning segment, an afternoon segment, and a night segment, and then a late night segment. And their stories are probably talked about on every single segment on mainstream media. However, a case like Shanquella's, which is somewhat similar to their case in the sense that it was an untimely death, a murder, just like them, but yet she has barely any airtime, a fraction, not even a fraction of airtime that they have. So I definitely respect Nancy even more than I already did. And the way Nancy tells her stories, man, so passionate, so compelling. When you listen, regardless of whether you know them or not, you feel compelled to have sympathy for the family, as if this was your sister or brother or your first favorite cousin. It's just the way she tells the story, but y'all are going to hear it right now.
I just want you to imagine this. I can hardly even say this with my daughter in my mind. You get your beautiful, wonderful girl through high school. She's fabulous. You get her to college. She's on the verge of graduating. So proud. She goes on a little girls' getaway, girls' weekend. Then you get a call that she's dead. Just let that soak in just for a moment. You get a call, your baby is dead. Because that is what happened to Miss Robinson, Miss Almondra Robinson. Her beautiful girl, the world in front of her, on the verge of graduating Winston-Salem State in business, goes away for a girl's getaway. And now she's dead. Not at the hands of some masked intruder, not a drive-by shooting, on a girl's getaway with her friends. How can she be dead in the hotel room? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories.
You hear what I'm talking about? You hear the passion in her voice? Man, let me tell you. There were some other points that she made that I wanted to also kind of highlight. So I'm going to go ahead and play some of those points right now.
Family are going through. When I leave the children at school in the morning and I see that phone ring, I'm already in the car on the way because I know something's wrong. And I cannot imagine how you felt when you get a call that something is wrong with your girl and she's resting and she can't come to the phone to talk to you. Oh, hell no. What happened? Just take it from the top, if you don't mind, Miss Robinson.
Well, like I said, they was saying that she was resting and she wasn't really responding. That's why they called the ambulance. And when the ambulance got there, they said the ambulance was working on her. And as I got from reports saying that the ambulance was working on her for 2 to 3 hours, but no one ever decided to take her to the hospital.
Now, here's another thing. How can you be resting and unresponsive? Like when they did they try to get her to talk to you on the phone? Well, start at the beginning. When you get the call, where are you?
When I got the call, I was out eating.
Okay, so you were what, in North Carolina?
Yes.
So North Carolina time, it was what, 7 o'clock at night?
It would have been about 6.
Could you imagine out to eat and then you receive a phone call like this that changes your life forever? I could not imagine this. No one can imagine something like this. But anyway, let's continue.
7.
Okay, so she is in San Jose del Cabo, Mexico, so that I think would have been 3 hours behind. Like they're on California time, correct?
Yes.
So 4 p.m. their time, 7 p.m. ish your time. You get a call. And who called you?
Celia Cook.
Who's that?
That's supposed to have been her best friend.
Did you say Celia Cook?
No, Kalia Cook.
Oh, the man.
Yes.
And he was a friend of hers. He had gone on family vacations. You knew him, right?
Yes.
Okay, were they romantically involved?
No.
Okay.
All right, so we already know that, so I'm just going to skip maybe like 15 seconds.
And he calls you, correct?
Yes.
And he says what to you?
That Shanquella wasn't feeling good. He thinks she had drunk too much. She had alcohol poison. And I said, what is alcohol poison? Because I didn't even know what alcohol poison was.
Okay, with me, someone that can answer that question very well, Dr. Kendall Crowns, Chief Medical Examiner, Fort Worth, lecturer at University of Texas and Texas A&M, faculty, University of Texas Medical Branch. Dr. Crowns, what is alcohol poisoning?
Alcohol poisoning is when you get so much alcohol in your system that it actually is fatal to your body. Alcohol can be toxic to your heart and also your liver. So when you have a really, really high level of alcohol, it can cause basically poisoning of these organ systems. So it's usually seen in someone who has been binge drinking, and the standard alcohol level is legal limit is about 0.08 in most jurisdictions, and once you get into a 0.3, 0.4 area, most people will have so much alcohol on board that it will kill them. And that is a lot of alcohol.
Okay, so, hold on. I'm trying to reconcile what you're saying with what Miss Robinson was told. Take a listen to our friend Victor Canado.
On October 29th, one of the guests staying at the resort called for help around 2 p.m. Upon arriving, medical professionals were informed that Robinson had drunk a lot of alcohol. A doctor reportedly said she was stable but dehydrated, suggesting she may be treated at a hospital. The guests insisting she remain at the villa. A police report stating Robinson went into cardiac arrest and was declared deceased around 6 p.m.
There you go. That's why she didn't go to the hospital. Did you hear that? The guests, her girlfriends, insisted she stay there.
All right, so I'm going to stop the recording right there. But like I said, if y'all want to hear the full interview, which I recommend listening to because it's really good, then head over to foxnation.com. But Nancy breaks down everything, like literally word for word, that is told to Miss Salamandra Robinson. And of course, that includes alcohol poisoning. The definition of that, which we just heard, is when someone consumes way too much alcohol to the point that it becomes a poison and works against the body, right? But we also know that the toxicology report stated there was 0 alcohol in Shanquella's system. So how is it that someone who is a non-medical professional can come to the conclusion that someone had alcohol poisoning? But yet you never discussed an attack happening in the villa. So now we are moving on to the brainstorming portion of the video, aka speculation. Okay, so again, speculation. There's no confirmed evidence here. This is just brainstorming. Okay, all right. So what we are looking at is Exhibit C at this point. And this screenshot comes from a channel I recently came across called Gossip Girl. And from what I see, she's mainly like a drama / tea channel. However, she did have a caller contact her, and this caller made a really good observation that I wanted to share here. And because of this observation, I actually started thinking about other things. Now, I didn't watch the full video of where this particular observation came from. I just literally stopped right after she was done discussing her observation, which was like the first 3 minutes of the video. But what we're looking at on the left is a still shot from a video of recording that Shanquella did on her story of Winter struggling to do a push-up, right? And then on the right side here, we have a screenshot or a still shot from the brutal beating attack video of Dejanay to Shanquella, right? And this is a still shot of the person who was on the bottom right of that video also recording on their phone. Now, initially, it was reported that someone was FaceTiming, which of course we all know was not true. They were actually also recording the whole beating. Now, the whole question is, who was the person recording, because we could not really tell. So this person made an observation based on the nail set, and I was like, dang, I didn't even notice that. So if we look at the photo to the left, Winter's nails are bright white, okay? And she's very far away. And we can still see how white her nails are compared to the photo on the right, where the person's hand is literally right in the camera lens way. And you can barely tell that the fingertips are white. So of course, we're going to assume that they have acrylics on or some type of permanent nail adhesion done to where they can't switch nail sets. So if that's the case, then it's safe to assume that the person on the right photo is actually Elise and not Winter. Because of course, we all know that Winter and Dejanay are besties, so everyone just assumed that Winter had to be the one recording this brawl. So if we assume that the person on the right is Elise, then we can also assume that the person who came from way across the villa all the way to this room to intervene had to be Winter and not Elise, like she wanted us to assume. Which would then mean it's a good possibility that Winter was the one who made the 911 call. Now again, this part of the video is speculation, brainstorming based on the observation that this caller made in about the nails. So honestly, I think that was good sleuth's work, if you ask me, because I really wasn't paying attention to nobody's nails. But regardless of the observation, one thing we know for sure is that the CABO 6 decided collectively to leave Shanquella's body behind, and they also denied her of medical assistance. So at minimum, the CABO 6 would be considered co-conspirators against Shanquella, in which a conspirator derives from the word conspire, which is a secret plan, and in most times it's evil or legal or both, and it's made against someone or a group of people. So circling back to the definition of the co-conspirator, this would be a person who is engaged in a conspiracy with someone or a group of people. which lines up perfectly with the CABO 6 because they all conspired against Shanquella to ensure not only was she beaten up, but that proper medical aid was not rendered to her, which would then also make some, if not all of them, accomplices. And by definition, an accomplice is a person who helps another commit a crime. So in order for all CABO 6 to be charged with being accomplices, a crime would have to be proven done by each member. So they would need to figure out who administered the physical attacks. Abuse of a corpse may also be on the table because where her body was didn't really make sense based on the events that they claimed. And lastly, the prevention of proper medical assistance would have to be another crime as well, right? Because that potentially could have saved her life. And that's on top of possible fraud, bribery, and grand theft charges. Now, fraud because it was alleged that they used Shanquella's credit cards to purchase their flights back home, which they obviously didn't have consent from her to do. In addition to claiming they needed $5,000 from her mom to get Shanquella to a hospital that they ended up denying her access to. Bribery because it was alleged that they persuaded the responding officers and the medical staff to alter the details of what really happened to fit their narrative. And then lastly, grand theft because they allegedly stole money from Shanquella as well, which we heard was anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000. Now, I'm not really sure how the grand theft charges work in Mexico. You know, I know it's different because I know here in America, anything valued over, I believe it's $300 US is considered grand theft. And the only reason why I think I remember that is because one year I went to the beach and my dumb friend at the time left our blanket unattended, and it had our cell phones and it had all this stuff, including her car keys, which is the vehicle we used to get to the beach, and we were literally over 100 miles away from home. Yeah, she was stupid. Anyways, and no, I'm not friends with this girl anymore. But we had to file a police report, and so I had told him all my stuff that got stolen, and it was only things like shorts and a jacket. And then when I told him my cell phone was included, he was like, oh, okay, I can make the report now because that would be considered grand theft because it's over $300. I remember him specifically saying that, and that's the only reason why I know that. But y'all can correct me if I'm wrong or if that has changed, because this was years ago, back when we were in college. But anyways, I came across something that I read online from a resident of Mexico. So this is not like an official legal website, but this is just like a citizen of Mexico who stated that if anyone was to steal, the charges depend on the value basically, and they value things off of minimum wage. So for example, if something is valued under 100 times minimum wage, the person could receive up to 2 years in prison and up to 100 days minimum wage fine. So not only do you have to give back what you stole, but now you're going to have to dish out money that you already didn't have, plus do prison time. That's wild. That's wild. Because I know here in America, I don't think they fine people, right? They just charge you for the crime, like you go to jail or whatever. But yeah, so that's how they do things down there. So the chips are stacked high for the CABO 6, and we just have to cross our fingers that the authorities can make something stick for each one of them. And we do have a new true crime story coming out this weekend, so if you're not subscribed already, make sure you do so you don't miss it. And lastly, don't forget to share, like, and I will see you all on the next episode of Evil Strikes. Take care.